Welcome to Backbone Unlimited. My name is Matt Hartsky. This is part 2 in our ongoing series of how to apply for the Western big game states. Today, in this episode, we're diving into Idaho, elk, mule deer, and pronghorn, and what's changed heading into the 2026 season. Idaho stands out among Western states because it does not use a preference point or bonus point system for its general season deer and elk tags. Instead, applicant success comes largely down to timing, preparation, and zone or unit selection. Historically, non-resident general season tags in Idaho were sold on a first-come, first-served basis, especially for uncapped elk zones or general deer tags. But for 2026, the rules have shifted. The Idaho Fish and Game Department has approved a drawing process for non-resident general deer and elk tags. Let me break down 3 key things that you need to know right off the bat. No point system for non-resident general deer and elk tags. Every application stands alone and your odds reset every year. The tag types are divided into general season tags for many deer and elk units and zones, and controlled hunt tags, lotteries with quotas. The general season tags are what we're focused on here because as a non-resident, you're often competing for those broader opportunities. The drawing for non-resident general tags, deer and elk, for the 2026 season is happening in early December 2025, with results announced in early January 2026 and a second application window in February of 2026 for tags not claimed in the first window. So in short, if you want to hunt Idaho as a non-resident in 2026, you need to treat your application like a major project because the window is limited. You need your license ahead of time. You need to be clear about which species, unit, and zone or tag type you're applying for, and you need to have a backup plan if your first application doesn't draw. When it comes to Idaho, the biggest change non-residents need to wrap their heads around is this. Beginning with the 2026 season, the traditional first come, first served scramble for general deer and elk tags is gone. It's now a structured drawing system, and understanding this process is the difference between frustration and a smooth application. You might want to grab a pen for this, although you'll always be able to go back and either look at the transcript of this video or look at the Idaho Game and Fish website. For non-residents, the general tag draw runs on 2 application windows. The first window opens up December 5th through the 15th, 2025. That's your main shot at the bulk of Idaho's non-resident general deer and elk tags. Results are going to post in early January. So if you draw a tag, you have until January 20th, 2026 to claim and purchase it. Miss that deadline and your tag is gone, no exceptions. Once that first round closes, any unclaimed tags automatically roll into a second drawing window from February 5th through the 15th, 2026. With results released in early March and a final claim deadline of that tag in March 20th. Once that first round closes, any unclaimed tags are automatically going to roll into a second drawing window from February 5th through the 15th of 2026, with results released early March and a final claim deadline of March 20th. After March 20th, any tags still unclaimed flow into the return tag sale list that kicks off later in the spring. So here's where it gets specific. To apply, you must already hold a valid 2026 Idaho hunting license. You can't even start your application without it. That license is non-refundable, so you've got to treat it like your ticket into the draw. Each application allows up to 5 hunt choices for deer or elk. You can also apply as a group of up to 4 hunters. Group applications are pulled together in the draw, so if one is selected, the entire group receives tags as long as the tag quota for your chosen zone or unit can accommodate all group members. The new drawing applies only to general deer and elk tags. It doesn't affect your ability to apply for controlled hunts, which are still run later in the spring. That means you can enter this December draw and still submit a controlled hunt application in May if you want to double your chances. This system levels the playing field. No overloaded web queues. It's an equal shot for every applicant, but that also means strategy now lies in preparation, not in reflexes. You need to decide which elk zone or deer unit you want before the draw opens because your choices must match the tag types available to non-residents. So mark those dates. December 5th through the 15th is the first open window. February 5th through the 15th for the second window, and January 20th and March 20th as your claim deadlines. If you miss those, your tag goes back into circulation. In Idaho Fish and Game Department's system, you're going to find a structure designed to offer consistent general season opportunity, but it also demands you make smart decisions ahead of time. Elk hunting in Idaho is managed across 28 elk zones, and most zones operate under a two-tag system, an A tag and a B tag. In simple terms, if you're applying for an elk tag, you're going to pick one zone and then choose either the A tag or the B tag in that zone. The A tag typically offers more opportunity for archery or muzzleloader hunters or zones with higher tag numbers and sometimes more liberal season structures. The B tag often offers more rifle-centric opportunity with fewer tags, fewer hunters, or slightly later seasons. Beyond A and B tags, a big strategic layer is whether a zone is capped or uncapped for non-resident general tags. A capped zone means there is a fixed quota of tags, including resident, non-resident, and outfitter allocations for that zone's general season. If you pick a capped zone and it fills or closes early, you may be forced into Plan B. For the 2025 season, Idaho listed non-resident general tag quotas by elk zone in the non-resident general tags and tags allocated to outfitters supplement material. So, as a non-resident, you'll handle this process differently than a resident might. Since you have no preference points and it's now a draw for general tags, your decisions before you apply are critical. So here's the strategy that I like to share. Decide your primary zone and whether you're going to target A tag or B tag in that zone. Include a backup zone and tag type in your application choices, one that is less pressured or known for leftover tags. If your primary zone is capped and high in demand, place it first in your choices so you give yourself the best chance at it. If your skills align with archery or muzzleloader or rifle, pick accordingly. Don't mismatch your tag type. Because this is a draw, log into your application period already knowing your zone, your tag choice, so you're not making last-minute guesses when you hit submit. Here are a few examples. Let's say you choose Zone 14A, archery opportunity, as your first choice. Then you include Zone 20B, which is a rifle opportunity, as your second choice. If you draw the first choice, you commit. If not, the system then looks at your second choice. If your first zone's quota is tight, having the second choice gives you a realistic alternative. Also, because Idaho allows you to apply for up to 5 choices per species, you can list multiple zones and tag types, but your first choice matters most. And remember, if you draw in the first application window in December, you can't apply in the second window for that species. So maximize your first window choices, know what you want to do ahead of time. And here's a key tip. Don't apply for zones simply because it looks good on paper. Apply for one you can physically hunt with the gear, travel, access, fitness, and time you have. Too many folks pick a dream zone that requires a load of logistics or past hunting knowledge and then get frustrated. Your best application is one you can execute. Also, make sure you track zones that historically have leftover tags or return tag opportunities. Because Idaho published lists of leftover and return tags, you can monitor which zones often show up. That intel gives you backup plans if your first draw doesn't land. When it comes to mule deer, Idaho runs one of the most unique systems in the West because the line between general season and limited access isn't always clear. As a non-resident, your opportunity lives inside that gray area. You're technically hunting general tags, but those tags are capped by unit and quota, meaning timing and selection are everything. Let's start with the basics. Idaho offers general season deer tags for both residents and non-residents, but non-resident tags are unit specific and capped. That means you must select the exact game management unit where you intend to hunt. That's going to be listed as GMU, Game Management Unit, right? Each unit has a fixed non-resident quota, and once that unit fills, it's closed. This is different from states like Wyoming or Montana, where general tags allow you to bounce across large regions. In Idaho, your deer tag locks you into that unit. It's your zone of operation for that season. So if you plan to hunt mule deer there, you're going to need to identify multiple potential units well before the draw opens. Your general deer tag application runs through the same non-resident tag drawing process as elk. So your first window is that December 5th to 15th, 2025, with results available in early January. And your claim deadline is still January 20th. Your second window is the same February 5th to 15th. And then the final claim deadline is going to be March 20th. You can list up to 5 hunt choices, each representing a unit or season you'd be willing to hunt. Once you draw one, you're committed to that specific unit. If you don't draw, you're free to apply for controlled deer hunts later in the spring, typically between May 1st and June 5th, or monitor the return tag sales for unclaimed general tags that reopen throughout the year. The main difference between a controlled hunt and a general tag in Idaho comes down to density and timing. Controlled hunts offer narrower windows, fewer hunters, and in many cases, the access to higher quality bucks or less pressured areas. But odds are lower, and there's no point system to stack over time, so you're entering a true lottery every year. General tags, on the other hand, give you consistency, the ability to hunt Idaho's mule deer year after year if you're proactive with your planning. For many non-residents, that's the smarter long-term play. Build familiarity with a few key units, track harvest data, and adjust your choices based on how those quotas fill each year. So how do you choose the right unit? Here's what I recommend. Start by studying Idaho's big game seasons and rules brochure for the upcoming year. Each unit is listed with weapon type, season dates, and tag caps. Then cross-reference those units with the department's harvest statistics from the past 5 years. Look at 3 things: success rate, hunter numbers, and buck to doe ratio. You're not chasing the highest success rate, you're looking for balance. Consistent harvest numbers with manageable pressure. Next, think about your goals and hunting style. If you want to see country and glass multiple basins, look for open units in southern and central Idaho. If you prefer thick cover or mixed aspen timber country, target units along the central mountains or panhandle region. Finally, prioritize units that fit your time window. If you can only hunt in late October or early November, focus on general seasons that align with the pre-rut or early rut migration. Those can be some of the best opportunities in Idaho for mature bucks moving out of the high country. Here's a strategy tip for non-residents as well. Since you can't predict when or how fast a unit will fill, always have at least 2 backup units. Use your 5 choices wisely. List 1 or 2 high demand units first, followed by 2 or 3 that typically remain open longer. The goal is to ensure you draw something every year while still chasing the kind of hunt you want most. If you missed both drawing windows, don't quit. Keep tabs on the return tag sales. Idaho routinely releases unclaimed deer tags at 10 a.m. Mountain Time on posted sale days. You'd be surprised how many solid units show up in those lists if you're ready to click fast. When it comes to Idaho pronghorn, the biggest thing non-residents need to understand right away is this: there are no general tags. Every single antelope hunt in the state runs through a controlled hunt system. If you want to chase pronghorn in Idaho, you're entering a true lottery. No points, no preference, just a clean draw every year. Idaho's pronghorn controlled hunt period typically opens May 1st and closes June 5th, with results released in early July. Those dates can shift slightly each year, but that window has been consistent for a long time. You're going to apply through your Go Outdoors Idaho account, the same portal you use for elk and deer tags, and you'll need a current Idaho hunting license to enter, the same as those other tags. As a non-resident, you're going to be eligible for up to 10% of the total pronghorn tags in any given unit. So that doesn't mean you're guaranteed that percentage though. It's a cap, not a quota. If residents fill those hunt slots first in the random draw, the non-resident portion can end up being less than 10%. That's why odds for Idaho pronghorn are typically some of the toughest in the West. You're competing in a small pool with no point system and relatively low tag numbers. Idaho offers three broad categories of pronghorn hunts: archery, muzzleloader, and rifle. Archery hunts usually open in mid-August and run for several weeks, offering high visibility, low pressure opportunities if you're willing to grind through heat and long sits near water. Muzzleloader hunts often follow, running in late September or early October, while rifle hunts fall in early to mid-October during the heart of the rut. Your application allows up to 4 hunt choices, and you can only apply for one species group, meaning you can't apply for deer, elk, and pronghorn controlled units in the same year. You're going to need to pick which one you're focusing on. That's a rule that catches a lot of people off guard every season. Because the pronghorn draw is purely random, your best strategy is flexibility. Look for less obvious units and be realistic about what you want out of the hunt. If your main goal is just to experience Idaho's open country and chase some pronghorn, focus on units with higher tag counts rather than trophy reputation. Avoid oversubscribing to the same well-known hunts that every Western hunter piles into each May. Odds there can be less than 1%. A better play is to identify mid-tier hunts, one that requires effort to access and involves some walking and has mixed terrain. Also keep in mind, if you draw a pronghorn tag, you can't apply for or participate in another controlled hunt for deer or elk that same year. Idaho treats pronghorn as a separate controlled hunt species group, and drawing one locks you out of the others until the next season. Each year, Idaho Game and Fish publishes detailed draw odds reports by unit and weapon. So review the past 3 to 5 years. Look at applicant totals, available tags, and success rates. That history is going to show you where non-residents have actually drawn tags, not just where everybody applies. When you spot units with slightly higher odds, usually in rougher or more remote areas, that's your play. Apply there, and if lightning strikes, you're going to have an adventure that very few non-residents ever experience. Idaho pronghorn hunts are tough to draw, but they're worth it. With high visibility, long-range shooting, and open country stalks, they offer one of the most exciting big game experiences in the state. Just know the odds, plan ahead, and treat it as a long game, a once-in-a-while tag that you keep chasing year after year. One of the most underrated opportunities in Idaho for non-residents comes from what most hunters overlook, and that's the return tag sales. These are re-release tags that weren't claimed after the draw or returned back by hunters who couldn't make their trip. It's the single best second chance system in the West for guys who missed out in early December or February. Here's the flow. Once the non-resident general tag drawings wrap up and claim deadlines pass, January 20th after the first window and March 20th after the second window, any tags that weren't purchased are repooled by the Idaho Department of Fish and Game. Then, at specific intervals through the spring and summer, they're going to release those through the return tag sales on its official site at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. These aren't random. They're scheduled, published, and run through the same Go Outdoors Idaho portal you use to apply. In 2025, there were sales in March, June, August, and September. So expect a similar rhythm for 2026, with the exact dates being posted on Idaho Fish and Game's returned and sold out tags page every winter. The night before each sale, the Idaho Department of Fish and Game releases a live list of all available tags by species, zone, and unit. That list is gold. It's going to show you exactly what's back on the table, general deer and elk tags that someone else either forgot to claim or turned in. If you want to land one of those tags, make sure you treat it like a draw day. Be logged into your Go Outdoors Idaho account early with your payment method ready and your tag numbers pre-noted from that list. Refresh the page at 9:59 a.m. and be ready to move fast, because once tags go live, they move in seconds. Make sure you know which zone or unit you're clicking on too, especially for elk. Some hunters panic buy and end up with the wrong zone, which locks them into terrain or access they didn't plan for. A pro tip I've used over the years: make sure you have a primary target zone and at least one backup in mind. If your first choice vanishes before checkout, pivot instantly to your backup. If you track these sales for a few cycles, you're going to start to notice patterns. Certain elk zones, like those that are physically demanding or have limited road access, tend to pop back up more often. Same for deer units in rougher country or with late season weather exposure. These are exactly the kinds of opportunities that reward preparedness. The average hunter is asleep at the wheel here, but if you stay on top of those release dates, you can consistently pull tags others leave on the table. The beauty of Idaho's return tag system is that it keeps you hunting even if you strike out in the main drawings. These sales are going to give you real over-the-counter style access without having to wait a full year. It's the perfect way to fill your calendar when your main plans fall through or when you're piecing together a multi-state schedule. For a lot of Western hunters, this is their pressure valve. If you didn't draw Wyoming or Montana, Idaho's return tags can rescue your season. So keep a close eye on that return tag schedule. Mark every 10 a.m. window and be ready to jump when those tags go live. Those few seconds can be the difference between another fall in the field or sitting at home wishing you'd clicked faster. By the time you're ready to hit submit on an Idaho application, you want the entire process to feel automatic. The more you can eliminate guesswork, the fewer chances you're going to have of missing a critical step or deadline. So here's how I walk through it every year, start to finish. Create or update your Go Outdoors Idaho account. Everything runs through this portal. If you've applied in the past, log in and verify that your address, phone, and email are up to date. Idaho's communication, draw confirmations, tag claims, even return tag notices come through your email, so make sure it's correct. If you're brand new, create the account several weeks before December so there's no last minute identity or residency verification delays. Verify your certifications. If you were born after 1974, Idaho requires proof of hunter education. Bow hunters also need an archery endorsement if you plan to buy or apply for an A tag with archery seasons. These must already appear on your profile before you can purchase or claim a tag. So upload documentation early. If it's missing, the Game and Fish Department is going to take a few business days to verify that. Purchase your 2026 hunting license first. Idaho is one of the few states that require a non-refundable license purchase just to enter the draw. That license is good for the calendar year, not just the license year. So buy the 2026 version once it becomes available. Without it, your application won't even process. Know your species and hunt numbers. Before the window opens, pull the non-resident general tag supplement and the big game seasons and rules brochure. Every tag, zone, and unit has its own numeric code. Make sure you're writing down and screenshotting those codes for each of your 5 hunt choices so you're not fumbling when the system asks for them. Submit your application carefully. When the first draw opens December 5th through the 15th, 2025, log in early in the window. Don't wait until the last night. Fill out your elk and deer application, double check your hunt codes, and confirm your weapon type and zone. You can apply for 1 deer tag and 1 elk tag, each with up to 5 choices. If you're applying as a group, designate a group leader and ensure everybody's information matches exactly, including date of birth and license numbers. Record confirmation numbers. Once you pay, make sure you take a screenshot of your confirmation page. Idaho's portal occasionally glitches under heavy load, and this is your proof of submission if anything goes sideways. Watch for results and claim deadlines. For that December window, results drop in early January. If you draw, you must claim and purchase your tag by January 20th, 2026. Miss it and the tag is forfeited, no exceptions. For the February window, the purchase deadline is March 20th, 2026. If you didn't draw, don't just move on. Shift focus onto the controlled hunt application period in May and start watching the return tag sale calendar. Print and carry your documents. After purchasing, make sure you print your license, tag receipt immediately. Idaho requires physical proof in the field, and mail delays can happen, so keep digital backups stored on your phone. Double check the rules every year. Idaho Fish and Game occasionally adjusts quotas, access boundaries, or weapon restrictions. The brochure is updated annually, so never assume last year's dates apply. Stay ready for second chance sales. If everything falls through, set reminders for 10 a.m. Mountain Time on the posted return tag sales dates. Have your Go Outdoors Idaho page open 10 minutes early and your payment method preloaded. When you follow these steps, Idaho's system becomes predictable. A lot of hunters get tripped up because they don't read the fine print or they treat deadlines like suggestions. Treat it like a job application, complete, accurate, and on time. You do that, and you're going to avoid every common pitfall that costs non-residents a tag every single year. By now, you've seen that Idaho's system isn't complicated, it's pretty structured. It rewards the hunter who pays attention and punishes the one who doesn't. There are no preference points, no rolling advantages, and no safety nets. Every year is a clean slate. That means the guys who prepare, research, and react fast get the opportunity. If you're a non-resident planning your 2026 season in Idaho, here's the reality. Idaho can and should be a pillar state in your annual lineup. It's one of the few Western states still offering legitimate over-the-counter style opportunity through its new general tag draw. You just have to plan your timing and budget around it. Step one is make sure that you decide your priorities early. Start by asking yourself what you want out of Idaho. If it's elk, choose your zone and decide whether an A tag archery or muzzleloader or B tag rifle best fits your schedule and skill set. If it's mule deer, focus on 2 or 3 general units that align with your available dates. If it's pronghorn, commit to entering the controlled draw every May, knowing it may take years to hit, but when it does, it'll be worth it. Step 2, budget the year before. Idaho demands an upfront license purchase, so build that into your 2025 finances so you're not scrambling come December. Add in application fees and potential tag costs for each species. If you draw, you've got to be ready to pay immediately because you only have a couple of weeks to claim it. Step 3, track every major date. Set reminders right now for December 5th through the 15th, 2025 for the first general draw window. January 20th to 2026 to claim that tag, February 5th to the 15th, 2026 for the second draw window, and March 20th, 2026 for the final claim if you drew that tag. May 1st through June 5th, 2026 is your controlled hunt application. Plus, make sure that you mark every return sale tag date. You follow that schedule and you're never going to miss a window again. Step 4 is to build flexibility into your plan. Idaho rewards adaptability. Have backup zones. Be open to different weapon seasons. Keep an eye on units that regularly show up in return tag lists. The hunters who get locked into one dream plan are the ones who often sit out an entire season. Step 5 is execute and learn. Every tag, drawn, returned, or controlled is an education. Keep notes on the zones you hunt. Record weather, access, animal movement, pressure. Next year, that intel will become your edge. Idaho's terrain is diverse, from open sage to heavy timber. The more you hunt it, the sharper your instincts are going to get. When you stack all of this together, understanding the draw, managing your time and budget, and staying proactive, you're going to be ahead of 90% of the hunters out there. Idaho's not about luck, it's about execution. If you're serious about taking this type of knowledge and education deeper, that's exactly why I built Team Backbone. It's more than just a membership. It's a way to sharpen your edge with exclusive tools, strategies, and a tribe of hunters who never quit. Inside, you're going to get 20% off site-wide on all Backbone Unlimited gear, a member-only t-shirt shipped to your door every month, not available anywhere else, full access to the digital content vault of guides, checklists, fitness programming, backcountry strategies, and mindset training, a private Facebook group with direct access to me, and a community of driven hunters who live relentless, direct call, text, or email access to me for personalized advice on training, hunting strategy, or sharpening your edge, and automatic entry into monthly gear giveaways. This is built for the guys who train for the hunt, push themselves in the off-season, and want to be part of a tribe that makes them better. If you're ready for that kind of inner circle, then Team Backbone is waiting for you at backboneunlimited.com underneath the membership tab. Thanks for being here. Until next time, train harder, hunt smarter, and never settle.